Hey you all, Farmer Jesse here, feeling a little better since last week. Kind of cleaned up a little bit. I got tennis elbow, that's super fun, but other than that, we're doing fine. Got a new employee coming on, gonna help on Thursdays and Fridays. It's gonna free up Hannah. Employee's gonna watch the kids. Hannah's gonna come out and help. It's gonna be awesome. I'll keep you all updated on that. Anyway, that's not what I'm gonna talk about today. Today, I wanna talk about some crops that work really well in the summertime in our context at our market. I'm gonna talk about all of that. So, let's do it. All right, so context is extremely important, right? It depends a lot on your market, right? Our market is not a producer-only market, so this changes things a little bit. So our main market is in Lexington, Kentucky. It is not a producer-only market, but it is a really great market. And there are things I actually like about it not being producer-only, but there are also some things that make it a little bit more difficult as a small grower. Because people are reselling product, so when I say it's not producer only, I mean that there are a handful of people who resell product. That means that tomatoes are there in like March. They buy them up from Georgia and Alabama and wherever. And then tomatoes start arriving like months before we have them. So people are not really excited when tomato season hits for us. They're a little bit, I mean, they like having organic tomatoes, certainly, but it's not a big seller for us. In fact, we're actually considering cutting way back next year on tomatoes because it does okay. There are other crops, however, that those resellers don't do and that a lot of other people don't do that we do, and that works really well in our context. The reseller thing is nice because a lot of our customers come and get specialty crops from us, and then they get some of the staples from the resellers, so they're able to use the market like a supermarket, and that helps a lot for selling to people who really want to buy a lot of food. And your market is going to be different from my market. Your context, your time of year, if you're in a producer-only market, it's a different thing. Your context is just going to be different from mine, and that's fine. Let's just talk about some specific crops, and while I'm here in this specific spot, stupid camera, fix the thing. I've got two here that I want to talk about. This one on my left, this is green onions. We do green onions. This is Parade bunching onions. We do green onions all season. And these are interplanted at our peppers right now, but we've got them all over the place. And the reason is, a lot of people give up on green onions after like the first few markets. They use them early, they plant them in like February, they use them early and then they give up on them. People will buy it all summer long. They love seeing green onions. So we just keep them going. That is a really great crop for us. Another really great crop obviously is Salanova. Can you see that? Salanova lettuce. We'll cut this whole head and mix it in. We will also sell the Salanova as a head lettuce. There are also several head lettuces that we'll sell. So lettuce in general, one big one though, and is maybe a little bit off the beaten path. This is actually one that Adam, our intern from last year, had the idea for, and we'll mix 1 pound of pea shoots for 5 pounds of lettuce mix, and we'll sell that at, let's see, 1/4 of a pound, at 1/5 of a pound for 1 for 3 or 2 for 5, so it fits into that same thing. So a bit where we sell our lettuce at 1/4 of a pound, do you follow? This is kind of weird. So we sell our lettuce at 1/4 of a pound, in 1/4 pound bags at 1 for 3 or 2 for 5. We sell this lettuce mix with the pea shoots at 1/5 of a pound at 1 for 3 or 2 for 5. So we end up actually making a pretty good profit on that. But it's also something that our customers love. I don't think we could go to market without that. I think our customers would be very angry. Two other crops we do really well with in the summer are fennel, which you can kind of see here, and then celery. So celery underneath, fennel on top, in the middle. And there's no reason necessarily to put fennel and celery together, except for that's what I had to plant at the time. But it seems to be working out pretty well. At first, I thought I was having a little concern with, there's some like yellowing leaves on the bottom of the celery, but gosh, it's starting to look really nice. So there may have been some stress right there in the beginning, but it seems to have recovered. Anyway, both of those crops are really great sellers for us. With the fennel, what we'll do is we'll actually just sell it with the greens on. We'll tear any yellow leaves off. We'll put one rubber band around the top and we'll sell the whole bulb just like that. And then I also sell a lot of that to restaurants. That's a big restaurant item for us, but it works really well on the market table, especially if they're nice, white, clean, you know, clean up the bottoms really well. That's actually a pretty good market seller for us. And we end up getting one bulb if we can get it nice. If they're smaller, we'll have to double up the bulbs, but for the most part, if we have nice bulbs, and you can get them out before it starts getting too hot, then yeah, you can sell 1 for $3 or 2 for $5 for a single bulb. I should also say that in the summertime, with this crop in particular, fennel, you got to do it in the tunnels. The tunnels, that little bit of shade helps to keep them alive. And actually there are several crops we do that way, and I'm going to talk about them. Celery's just super long. You just got to keep that in the ground forever. Those crops that does really well in the tunnels, but I've like yet to really get it down in the fields in the summer, is beets. You can see that some of our, I don't know, this may be nutritional, but our beets, sometimes the greens don't look great. The beets look okay. Those are Cylindra. But sometimes, we've already started harvesting off this patch, but sometimes we get a lot of nutritional issues with our beets in the field. When you look at them in the tunnels, when they get a little bit of that shade from the plastic, my goodness, it's like, it's just night and day, the quality of the greens. And yeah, so that's a crop that we can actually grow because of that. We can grow it all summer with no real challenge. See if I can pull some of this. So we sell elephant garlic, right? This is elephant garlic, but we also sell the allium off the elephant garlic, $1 a piece, because it's a cut flower, and people will spend money on cut flowers. So we'll actually cut these and bring them as a cut flower and bunch them, and then we'll actually sell the later on we'll sell the elephant garlic as a roasting garlic, and that is a really good crop for us. And we sell garlic too. I mean, garlic is a huge crop for us. We do about 6,000 bulbs. We save about 1,000. So really it's selling somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 of them. And then we give a bunch to our CSA because it's garlic and it's awesome. Those are huge crops for us. It's also a little bit weedy. I didn't do any sort of bed prep for the elephant garlic. I just kind of, so I had lettuce in this bed, and then I just shoved the elephant garlic in the fall and went from there. The crop I'd like to make a big summer crop is arugula, and we've done arugula pretty far into the season. We're gonna try and go all summer with it. The one problem with arugula for us is mold. We're in a very humid environment. So we'll see if so we can't plant them maybe as densely as we would in the spring. We'll just see. I'm trialing some of that, trying to figure out what we can do to improve our yields on that, but that is a crop that works really well in the tunnels, under that little bit of plastic with a little bit of row cover. That's just like the lightest Johnny's row cover, the Agribon. And I want to talk about another one while I'm here. Another one that we grow almost exclusively in the tunnels, and another one that would effectively replace tomatoes. So things that would replace tomatoes would be like beets, arugula, and fennel, and Hakurei turnips. So these do really well after the solstice. Last year I thought I was a really bad Hakurei turnip grower until I waited till after the solstice, and after that Brian O'Hara episode I realized, like, oh, this makes way more sense. Like all of my, radishes and turnips and stuff grow way better after the solstice. So we're starting to grow more of these kind of things post-solstice, but we have to kind of do it under cover because it's just the sun in Kentucky in the middle of the summer is brutal, usually, although June has been really mild. Another kind of surprising crop for us that we probably make like $50 or $60 a week, but we make that every week for like 20 weeks is this everleaf basil, and it's just this awesome little bunching basil, just bunches up, and then we simply, can't see what I'm doing, then we simply pop off a bit like that, and we'll pack those into bags that are 0.1 pounds, so whatever, a 1/16 of a pound, and sell those in our 1 for 3 and 2 for 5. And a lot of people are gonna say these prices are crazy. I have to say that our customers very rarely complain about the price. We do get price complaints, and sometimes when people aren't complaining, I start to think like maybe we're not charging enough. Our food is always high quality. We grow the best we possibly can, and we bring that to market. And for the most part, we get a great response on all of this. We rarely get any sort of price complaints. And I think part of that is our model. The 1 for 3 and 2 for 5, this is not something we came up with. This is, I think I first heard about it from Curtis Stone, and I've seen a lot of farmers using it. It's a great model, and we do everything in that model. We pick crops based on that. We consider whether or not a crop is actually going to fit into that model. Sometimes, like we grow the cherry tomatoes, for instance, we'll sell those in half pints or in $5 pints. So sometimes they'll just go, if we don't have any of the half pints, we'll just use full pints and then charge $5 for those. You couldn't do a $3 pint of those and make any sort of profit on your cherry tomatoes. I'm gonna eat one. The cost of production to an extent does weigh in, but we also don't do a lot of weeding. I regret that right now because our pathways are soaked. You saw me dumping the water off. We've had 15 days in a row of rain, so our pathways are getting a little weedy, and I'm regretting not doing a better job of weeding them. But you know, I screw up on lots of stuff. Wait, yeah, so we do consider our cost of production, but we don't. So you do have to be somewhat reasonable about this. This isn't cogs in a, you know, factory. Like, this is living organisms, and we fight things like hornworms. So, yeah, hornworms don't eat cogs, last I checked. All right, so that's gonna do it. Thank you all for watching. Like this video if you like this video. Make sure to tell me what's working in your context. What is your context? I love to hear those sorts of things. That helps me, that kind of informs me for, you know, for the podcast, and then also for doing these videos to kind of understand what other people are working with. Yeah, I love to hear that stuff. So let me know. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. This has been a long video. Wish me luck on the tennis elbow. I can't do much of anything with my left arm for the next 2 weeks, which is good because it's like just the busiest 2 weeks of the year. So anyway, party on. Thanks y'all. Bye.